Who's ready for a success talk? I didn't even finish to speak. It's like me. Okay, perfect. So one more time. Who's ready for a success talk? Perfect, guys. So first of all, I want to start off by saying how insanely grateful and happy I am to be here. And guys, I just love network marketing trading. It's amazing, guys, because I started like 8 years ago, 10 years ago actually, I got to know this industry, okay? And I was at a party. I was like 18, 18. I had a license for a driving license for a car. And I was the one at the party had to drive, so I couldn't drink, right? So the ones who drive, they don't drink. So I was at the party, it was pretty boring. Everyone was getting wasted. Everyone was like having a party, fun. And we're just like sitting there. Just like, let's go home. I'm sick and tired of this. And there was one guy that came to the party and we had like a little clique back in the times, right? And it was basically the clique of getting wasted every weekend. That's basically what we did. But in this clique, there was a new guy, right? And he kind of started to talk to me because he was so drunk, he couldn't even stand anymore. So he was sitting next to me basically, right? And he starts to talk to me. He's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm in an international business school. And he's like, oh, I also do business. And he started to talk about a business. And it sounded so weird. It sounded so bad. It sounded so scammy that I was just like, bro, stop talking, please, okay? So he took my number and I just gave him my number because I was like, if I give him my number, hopefully he shuts up, okay? So I gave him my number and I was just like, hey, bro, please just be quiet, okay? So this guy messaged me the next morning. Okay, it was Sunday morning. I wake up 10, 11 a.m., sends me a message on Facebook Messenger with a video of a presentation, okay? And he said, you remember yesterday we talked about this? I said, yes, I do remember. Probably you don't, okay? So I click on this link and because when I was younger, I was too broke to afford cinemas, I would always use these like illegal streaming websites, okay? And I opened this link and it reminded me instantly of these illegal streaming websites. Because when you go into these illegal streaming websites to watch movies, there was always these ads, become rich tomorrow, don't do it, you don't need to do anything, you're rich, like blah, blah, follow this program, you're gonna make millions, right? And kind of this presentation that I saw was pretty much the same. So I'm like, what the fuck is this scam, bro, right? So I was so turned off. I was like, I don't give a shit about this, right? I don't care. I'm in high school right now, I'm gonna work hard and finish that. I'm going to have good grades, I'm going to study law, I'm going to become an investment banker, make a lot of money, help my mom, right? That was my goal. So I didn't want to know what business he has. So he messages me again. And I'm going to give you guys my story. And with my story, there will be a lot of key lessons because these are the major key lessons that I had on how to become wealthy. At the same time, always think about dreams and story. Every one of you guys has a story. Who has a story in here? Everyone has a story in here. Everyone. It doesn't matter how little you think your story is, you still have a story. You are from somewhere, you made experiences, you had traumas, you had good times, bad times, you had learnings. All of us have a story. And hopefully we have dreams. Who has a dream in here? Stand up if you have a dream. I want to see you. Stand up if you have a dream. I hope everyone here has a dream. Okay? Give a round of applause for yourself that you have a dream. Because how I started was my story and working on my story, and you guys are going to sit down, appreciate it. I will let you stand for the next 1 hour. So I started with a story and I needed to work on my story. I needed to acknowledge who I am, what my weaknesses are, what my strengths are, where I come from, why do I feel like I feel, why do I hate certain things, right? And I had to work on my dream. My dream was for my mom to become financially free, for myself to travel the world, to be a person of inspiration, a person that teaches people, a person that is well-spoken, well-traveled, well-read, well-educated and wise. That was my goal always. So when I clicked on this link and I saw this presentation, at that time I didn't really have a dream besides going the normal route, the normal system, studying, getting a law degree, because that's the only thing I knew. Everything else for me was scam, was bullshit, okay? So I click on this link, I open this presentation, I go, hell no, I'm not gonna do this. Okay, it was 5 minutes, scammy guy walking around, it's like, hey, this is our business, like, I don't give a shit, bro. So I close the window, the tab, and I continue my stuff. Wednesday, so remember that, Saturday I met him, Sunday he sends me the link, Wednesday he messages me, And he's like, tomorrow we're gonna go to an event, I'm gonna pick you up. I'm like, what is like with like asking? Okay. So he's like, tomorrow I'm gonna pick you up, we're gonna go to Constance, that's a city, a bigger city next to mine, and we're gonna go to an event, right? And like, okay, I don't have anything else, so I just go with him on Thursday, right? So I take one of my best friends, he's half Turkish, half Spanish, right? This guy had Air Force One's on, cap to the backside, so real gangster. And I kind of found somewhere an old shirt, right? Was like completely messed up the shirt. Okay, I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll just go there. Okay, so we go there and there's like in the entrance hall, there's a security standing. And he wants money for us to enter. And like, I have everything but no money, bro. So how do I enter, okay? So my upline back in the times, the guy that got me into the business, he paid 10 euros for me because I was too broke to enter the room, to actually see the presentation, okay? So I sat somewhere way in the back, like in school, like in the bus, right? Way in the back. The room was full, okay? Full of people that are 40, 50, 60 and above, doctors, whatever, full tie suit, everything clean. Me there with Oktay, one of my best friends back in the time, the Turkish guy, right? Me with a messed up t-shirt. We were the youngest. I had no idea what they were talking about. I was just in the back of the room, right? And they start this presentation off. And they're like, this is the business, and you can travel, and you can do whatever you want, and these are our products, and this is what you need to do. And only the product presentation, only the products took 1.5 hours. Shona did the presentation in 15 minutes, right? So imagine how complicated this was back in the times. 1.5 hours, just the products. Then we had a break, as we had a break today. And in the break, I wanted to leave, but I didn't have a car. So I couldn't leave, right? So, okay, I went back in and I watched, or like I sat there patiently to leave this place because I was completely confused. Everyone was so happy. I never saw people being happy when they work. I'm like, this is complete bullshit. This makes no sense. They're just like, what is wrong with these people? They're mental, right? So I sit there, they do the second part about the business, and there's one thing that I will remember forever. There's a guy that comes on stage, and he says, at the end of his speech, explaining the compensation plan, he said, let's make a bet, or let's bet on me and you guys going to vacation, or going on vacation, and we see who can stay the longest. Right? And he said, we have doctors here, we have lawyers here, we have very successful people, entrepreneurs here, right? But I bet I can stay longer than you guys on vacation. And he continues to speak and he says like, I am the only father that brings his kids to kindergarten and picks them up again, the only one, right? And he continues to speak about these things and I'm like, that sounds amazing for me. It sounds amazing, the concept of building a team, traveling the world, being able to focus on family, actually everything we want to do. And that's what we want to do. We want to have a business, we want to have a career, so we are free. We are time free, financially free, but in the normal system, we always have to trade. It's either or. It's either financial freedom or it's time. Either you have the time and you're broke, or you have the money and you don't have time. How many successful people that we know that drive beautiful cars, have beautiful houses, but the only time they drive their cars really is from their work back home and from home back to work, right? And how many times do we have people that are completely free? We all have these friends that call us every Saturday, Friday, Sunday, whenever, hey bro, let's go. Completely broke, but always has time, right? So you have to choose, but I'm not good with choosing. I like both. Who likes both? I like both, so I was not good in choosing, and this guy showed me a way. So I considered to look deeper into it. After this event, I went home, and I started to have these thoughts, as most of you guys had after the first time listening to this business. How does this work? If everyone would do it, it doesn't work. This sounds like a scam, it's way too easy. How can you make $5,000 a month? And where I come from, right, very young, I come from a very normal family, right? I was born in Africa, Namibia, came to Germany when I was 5. There was a war going on, business was took off my parents' shoulders, or basically took away from them. My mom went back to Germany with me and my sister. I was 5 years old. From there on, I grew up in Germany, seeing my mom struggling financially. So I say normal family because we all have traumas. We all have these things in our past, right? Most of us. So I grew up with everything what was needed, which is love, respect, right? But we didn't have money. So I always wanted to have that. And when this guy stood on stage and he said, you can travel the world, you can make money with the network marketing, $5,000, you can do all of these things. I was insanely amazed, but it sounded too easy. Way too easy, because I was working jobs. My mom had 3 jobs. My dad had jobs, and none of them were financially free. None of them had enough money to really support them even themselves. So I'm like, this makes no sense. How can they be all happy when I go to work? They're all miserable. The only time they're happy is Friday. Why? Because you have the weekend, right? So I'm like, makes no sense. Today's not Friday. So I didn't get why they were so happy. I never saw an environment where people come together, they're happy, they have goals, they're looking forward to do something, they're excited. I've never seen that. So I was completely put off just by me not understanding the direct opposite. Most of us don't understand what life really is because all we know is what we've always known. It's like the mindset of being stuck, depressed, not knowing, right? We didn't have abundance. Most of us grew up in scarcity. We didn't have the resources. And some of you guys were fortunate enough, it's completely okay. But there's always more to achieve. You don't understand how much you can achieve. You don't know how many beautiful places there is to go. You don't know how many people there is out there to get to know, like get to know them and learn from them. You don't know that there's so many beautiful cars to drive, so many beautiful clothes to wear, so many restaurants to eat. There's so much to do for all of us. But going back, me completely freaking out over this opportunity, not understanding what this is about really, just being scared, calling it a scam because I didn't know. I was always comparing it to my family, to my situation. I'm like, this makes no sense. Fast forward, next Thursday, this guy invites me again to an event, right? So Wednesday he messaged me, we go to the event again. I go to the event again. I kept on going to these events for 6 or 7 months, every Thursday. And I was the only prospect most of the times. And I always had the same questions. How does it work? Why does it work? Is it legal? Is it not illegal? The upline, back in the time, the highest earner of this team, he took me to a lawyer just for me to ask the questions because I was so skeptical. Until today, after 8 years of this business, 10 years since I know it, 45 and more 6 and 7 figure earners coached, right? Thousands of members, 40, 50 countries traveled, all continents besides Alaska, much money made. I still haven't seen anyone being more skeptical than I was when I started. Trust me. And I have some that are very close. But I was the most skeptical person in this whole business. Why? Because I was in such bad situation with my mom and my sister that I couldn't jeopardize it. I couldn't risk to do something that would make it even harder for them. I was so scared of taking the next step because I was like this. I couldn't move. Because a step to the right could mean prison or sentences or any like high fees or costs that come in towards my way. And the other step means there is really no other step, right? And everything changed for me once I came home from a party again. So imagine this, I always had like side jobs while being university or while like doing high school and then going to university. Always had side jobs to afford clothes, my driver's license, my first scooter. I still remember my scooter was going 25 kilometers per hour. It was wild back in the times, and that's how we got to the, to the parties and everything. Was a beautiful time, guys. It was a really beautiful time. But something started to cook up in me. Like I started to have this fire. Who has a fire in themselves? Who has this burning fire in themselves? Okay. So some people has it as negative and some have it as positive. It depends on how you manage it. But back in the times for me, it was very negative. Why? Because you need to understand that I always say, and that's a key lesson here if you're taking notes, is that most of my leaders, including myself, most of the successful people that I have mentored, they all have a little bit of trauma, but not too much, so they're not completely effed up, and not too little, so they don't miss the burning desire, right? So I was kind of like more towards stepping towards the being effed up version of like the trauma, right? I'm like, what the fuck, what is this? It doesn't matter what we do. We always it always sucks. We're always in a bad position. And I call this in business that reasons pile up. Some of you guys joined this business and you had a reason to join, but you did not have the vehicle, right? And then some of you guys need more reasons to accumulate to take this really serious. And it is the same for me. When I got to know the business, I had 1 or 2 reasons. I knew I was in a financial bad situation. I knew I needed to help out my mom. And I wanted to become successful. 3 reasons, right? To become successful and take this vehicle serious. But there was too much doubt. And after listening to all of these presentations, asking critical questions, searching through the whole internet, researching every product, going deep into the law, because I was about to study law, why this is not illegal. There were some other reasons that piled up alongside before I took this business very serious. And one of the reasons was me, again, being at a party. And look, I was at a party because there's nothing else to do. Who had that feeling too when they were young or still now? It's like, there's nothing else to do. What else should I do, right? And it's completely okay. When we're young, we do that. So I felt like there's nothing else to do, let's just go. And I still remember, when you go to a party, it's always easy to get there, but you never think how you get back, right? It's like, let's just like figure out how we get there, but we get back somewhere, and somehow, right? So I still remember I went to this party way far because I grew up on the countryside. It's like, sometimes you have to commute like in half an hour with bus and trains, an hour to get somewhere, right? And then they're all closed, they're all not functioning anymore, and then there's no way to get home, right? So I still remember we were at some of these parties and we couldn't get home. It was 1 a.m. in the morning. And I sat there at the bench with my cousin back in the time. We're a little bit tipsy, right? Alcohol was already fading away. And I stood up and like, bro, I'm so sick and tired of this shit. I'm so sick and tired. My mom at home is struggling. We don't have money. I'm spending the money that I make with my little jobs and the money, the pocket money that my mom gives me. I'm wasting it on the streets, getting drunk, doing all of this BS, right? Not being focused. I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired. I want to change. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I remember we walked fucking home at that night. We walked home for, I don't know, like we arrived like at 8 a.m. in the morning, right? And I come home and I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired that I did it one more time. Next weekend, again, same shit, right? And maybe you guys are following along with that because sometimes you tell us, no, but you still continue, right? Because it's so easy to get back sucked into the habit, into just like people calling you and you're like, okay, no, I'll just come, okay? Because you have the FOMO. I had always FOMO. I had always like the fear of missing out, the next great party, the next Project X party, whatever, right? Back in the times, Project X was insanely big. Everyone wanted to have a Project X party, right? So I had so much FOMO of missing it out. So I went again, and that was really when the reason became so big, and it's still something that keeps my fire burning every day since I saw the situation. And I kind of don't wish for you guys to have a situation like that, but I also wish for it. Because without it being hard, without it becoming like you have to go through these hard times. I always say, don't go through hard times, grow through them. And I had to grow through the situation. So again, same party, same bullshit, came home late, but this time it was very different. And I already had this fire piling up. I had this opportunity. I knew I could take it. I knew I could take it serious. But I just had not enough reason to really do it. I was still pushing it away. I was still being skeptical. I was still giving myself excuses. How many times do we give ourselves excuses? Oh, it's not for me. Oh yeah, they can become successful, but me not. Okay, I don't want to be someone that is laughed at. Oh, this network marketing, come on, bro. Like they're always on social media, they're messaging everyone. This trading thing, bro, this doesn't work. You know? We're always having these excuses. Oh, what are my friends are going to think? Oh, I might lose people that I love because they will hate me for doing the business. All of these things, and you keep pushing it away, and you keep pushing it away. And I truly believe that most of you guys sitting here today, you are not coming up to your full potential. You have this opportunity, you have this business, you already joined, you are further ahead than I was. But you're not taking it serious enough. So something had to happen for me to take it serious enough. And that's the thing that changed my life. It's the very first key moment. And there is me coming home, again tipsy, walking a couple of hours to get back, and I open the main door to our flat back in the times. And our flat back in the times, our apartment was, I had a room to the left, in the middle was my sister, and the right side was kitchen / living room / my mom's bed, okay? And I opened this very door, and I hear someone crying. And I knew it's either my sister, my younger sister, or my mom. So I obviously thought it's my sister, right? But I heard it from the right side. So I opened another door, which is basically the kitchen door, and I open this door, I look to the left side, and I see my mom sitting there with a cigarette in her hand, glass of wine, and crying. And you need to understand that growing up as the only man with my sister and my mom knew that she has to be my dad and my mom at the same time. So she would never show that she's crying or she's weak. She would never burden us with her problems. So I catch her crying, and it destroyed my world. Because here was I, 18, wasting again another weekend, knowing that I need to change something, knowing that my mom is struggling, continuously going down this hedonistic bullshit way of getting drunk and wasted and chasing the next woman and doing the next bullshit. But my mom sits there struggling about life, and I ask my mom, I go up to her, and she saw me coming up, and she quickly washed away her tears, and she was completely ashamed. And there's something, and I need to watch out that I don't get too emotional, but there's something when you see someone that you love that is your hero crying. And look, after 10 years, this still makes me so emotional. That's where my fire comes from. That's why I still do this shit every fucking day. Because there's something that adds up and that you see in life that you're so sick and tired of, and seeing your mom, your hero, struggling with normal things like paying bills. You guys need to understand, back in the times, $500 would have changed our life. $500, guys. $500 would have been like a completely different life for my mom, my sister, and me. And I go up to my mom and ask what's wrong, and she said, we still have about a week in this month and I don't have money anymore. So we were the family that used to put stuff back at the cashier because we didn't have enough money. We were used to be the family that gassed up the car for €5 each or $5 because we didn't have more and it had to be step for step. We were the family that my mom was constantly working, having extra jobs, going here, going there, never being at home, right? We were that family. And I was sick and tired of being that family. I was sick and tired to be thrown from left to right and listen what everyone says and always coming next and living off the product of other people and always praying for someone's help when the car broke down and the washing machine broke down. All of these simple things. I was so sick and tired of it. So when I saw my mom that night, I lay in bed afterwards and I had this fire in me. But this fire was becoming very, very dangerous. It was a fire of either it completely blows up into the wrong direction, or I funnel this energy and I put it into something positive, into something good. And I was lying there and I swore to myself there will never be another time come in the future that my mom is going to struggle with money. There will never be again a time where we will be second. There will never be a time anymore where we have to wait for other people, where we are at the mercy of the law, the people, or people that are more powerful than us. And I remembered one thing. I have this opportunity, but why am I not taking it serious? So I was about finishing high school, and I had a vision board. Who has a vision board? Who does not know what a vision board is? Everyone knows what okay, a couple. So a vision board is basically a board. It's basically a board or just like a part of your, let's say, I don't know, wherever you want to put it, but you just print out pictures of your future. So you envision your dream car, you print it out and you put it on your vision board, right? You envision your dream apartment, you print it out, you put it you put it there. And you have a list with your goals. And I had this vision board, right? I had this vision board of where I want to go, what I want to do, who I want to become, right? And I stand up with this fire in me and I look at my vision board. Right? And I'm like, there's some goals that I need to tackle right now. And the only opportunity that I have is this business right now. Sometimes we need to understand that what we have is enough. One of the biggest skills of leaders is resourcefulness. And resourcefulness means understanding what are the tools that I have right now. What can I turn into a sharp tool to tackle life? And I had this business, but I was not taking it serious. So I went back to this guy. 6-7 months passed, me being in a meeting every Thursday. Imagine going there every Thursday. Imagine coming to a presentation once a week, every Thursday, sitting there, listening to the same stuff, asking the same stupid questions. At one point, there was 5 uplines sitting with me in one table and trying to close me. No joke. They did everything. I don't know what they saw in me, but they saw something, and it worked out. And that's something you need to be insanely grateful for, because if I would have not have mentors, and that's why this industry is so beautiful, because it exposes you to be with people that see more in you than you see in yourself. That's the definition of a mentor, is seeing more in the person that you mentor that they currently see in themselves. They saw something in me. I don't know what, but they saw it. So they were not frightened enough to constantly, side note, keynote, very important, constantly follow up and stay on me. Constantly message me, constantly pick me up and drive me to the events. They did so much. No one did so much for me. No one constantly picked me up and drove me somewhere. No one tried to answer all of my questions. No one was so nice to me as these people getting me into this business. I understand that they have a benefit of it, but look, back in the times I was so broke, the only thing that I could ever afford was €100 or like $100 license to even start the business. So they would not make a lot of money off me. So it's not because of that. And now I took the decision to join. After all of these things piling up, after me kind of understanding the business, after 7 months of asking stupid questions and being skeptical, I was finally ready. But I didn't have the money. So I did something that I'm not proud of, but I needed to do it. And out of the 100 euros license, I stole 50 euros from my sister's piggy bank, and the other 50 euros I got from my mom, and that's how I joined. I took that money, I gave it to my upline. Back in the times, it was he comes to you with a contract. Okay, not like back office and online, no, with a contract. You need to sign it, you need to give them 100 euros, and then I was a distributor for a company that sells nutrition, capsules, shakes that taste like shit, sorry for saying it, but it's true. And I didn't even know what the product really is because I never had the money to try it or I didn't have the money to purchase it. So I start to get invited into a Facebook group. In this Facebook group, there are drop boxes. And in these drop boxes, there's titles like how to win and influence how to win friends and influence people, something like that, the book, right, from Dale Carnegie. There was like the 21st Century Business from Robert Kiyosaki. There was Rich Dad, Poor Dad from all audio cassettes or audio, like recorded audios, right? And I click on these Google Drives and I start to listen to that stuff. And until that point, I've never done personal development, never. I was always the shyest kid. I was always the one that never really talked to anyone, a little bit overweight. I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. I was the best in World of Warcraft. That's where I was spending my time as a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, just gaming all the time, right? And I was not personally developed to even start this business. So I started to click on these Google Drives and I started to personally develop myself. People started to say, hey, instead of spending your money, and that's the reason why you're poor, you need to save your money and invest your money. I'm like, okay. Continuously I listened. I start to, when I drive to school, when I'm like in the bus, right? Or if I'm like in a train on the way to university then, I always started to listen to these audiobooks. And it started to mess with my brain. It's like you start to put so much positivity in yourself that you change as a person. And I didn't see real results for the first couple of months, but after, let's say, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 year, constantly doing personal development, and don't forget, I was still in the business while doing the personal development. But I couldn't handle to do personal development and the business at the same time because I was so underdeveloped. I can tell you one thing, that I should have never become successful in this business. Never. But there's things I did that everyone here can do, and that's the reason why I became one of the biggest leaders, why I've mentored over 45, 6, and 7-figure earners, why I'm currently leading one of the largest trading communities with you guys, with this amazing community. There's simple steps. To sum it up and go forward, one of them was I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Can we say that together on 3? 1, 2, 3. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. One more time. Sick and tired. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. The second thing I did is I started to do personal development. If you are not doing personal development right now, then you will definitely never succeed in this business. Because this business grows as you grow. And if you don't grow as a person, it will not grow. No one of you guys will build a successful trading or online business staying the same. It doesn't work. Because who you are today, your thoughts and your skills is the reason for who you are today. So my mentors told me, and that's why MLM or network marketing, this community is one of the most beautiful things, which is also the hardest for all of us. It's like a mirror into your face. So close to your face. Because it shows you who you really are. And I got this mirror right in front of my face. And I needed to understand that I was not good in communication. I lacked skills, basic skills of sales, communication in general, of anything. I didn't have a mindset. I had a very bad self-talk, right? I was very negative. And seeing myself in this mirror, while listening to personal development and one of the books that really was crazy for me was Millionaire Mindset by T. Harv Eker. I still remember every time I was driving my mom's car that nearly broke, like nearly the door broke off and whatever, right? I was happy that the radio was working and I could listen to some personal development, okay? Sometimes I had to smash the radio so it continues to play. So I remember listening to T. Harv Eker all the time. It's like, millionaires do this, and millionaires think like this, and they're positive, and you think millionaires wake up and they think negative. No, they're all of these things, and it piled up, and it piled up, and it piled up, and it piled up, and it piled up. At one point, I started to talk to people, and these words came back out. I started to talk like these guys. I was broke, busted, and disgusted, but I started to talk like a millionaire. Why? Because I was constantly listening to millionaires, right? So I started to see a change in that. information changes your situation. What you put into yourself is what's going to be the result. And don't underestimate and don't forget that you are the result of your thoughts and your skills right now. So if you're broke, it's your fault. If you don't like yourself, it's your fault. If you're in a bad situation, it's your fault. If you have bad people around you, it's your fucking fault. Because you are the result of your thoughts, your skills, your decisions right now. And I needed to accept that, because before success even starts, we need to understand who we really are. We need to get to a point, and I hope you guys leave this place today and you take home at least this thing from my speech, is understanding that it is your fault. And sometimes it's very hard to say that, because some people really had messed up things happen to them. And I have a lot of respect for that. I had messed up things happening to me. I know a lot of people. I'm a community leader. You don't even understand what kind of things I know about people. Because they trust you. And they tell you things. And these things are crazy. That's why I say it with a lot of respect. But you need to understand it's better to take 100% accountability from now on. Because if you don't take the 100% accountability, you will never change. And I had to take the 100% accountability. I blamed the rich. I blamed the system. I blamed everyone and everything besides myself. I was like, why are we in such bad situation? Why is everyone rich out there? Oh, it's because of this. Oh, I don't like money. Oh, money is the root of all evil. All of these things, right? I understood, and I had to understand that it's my fault. And from there on, I started to change, because I saw my flaws. And once you see your flaws and you're self-accountable for them, you can change them. But if you always put the blame away, you cannot change it. So one of the biggest keys towards success, besides personal development, being sick and tired of being sick and tired, being sick and tired of being sick and tired, is that I needed to understand I have to take 100% full self-accountability to take this to the next step. So I continue. I start to build my very first business. I had the license, but I didn't have the product. So we have a big convention, a big function like this one coming up, bigger than that. Okay, first event for me. And I still remember I go there, invited my cousin, because no one else wanted to come, right? He was my first prospect. He supported me, came to the function. And at the function, as you guys had the notebooks, they glued on the bottom of the seats, they glued these bars, these energy bars, like these, this is what's the product, right? It's like a bar that you eat and you're like satisfied for the next 7 hours. You don't have to eat anything anymore. It has like a lot of vitamins and all of these things. And they glue these bars on the bottom of the seats. So I had an idea. My idea was, since I don't have the money for the product, but I need the product to sell the product, let me just change seats as much as possible and grab some of them, right? So I started to sit down and take these things, right? And it was not only me, it was my cousin, and it was my upline, and it was my upline, because we were all too broke, right? So at the event, there was the main speaker, the CEO of the company. He said, put your hands below the seat, you will find one of these bars. And most people were like, huh? Where's mine? So we took them all. So I remember going back to school, university last year, and I had 2 prospects, my very first 2 prospects, Matteo and Leo. They were my first 2 prospects, both my seating neighbors in high school, right? I told them about, I started this business, and you need to try these energy bars. They're amazing, they taste so good, it's crazy. You will be satisfied for the next 7 hours. You don't have to have an extra meal anymore. We're gonna make so much money, we're gonna become so rich, right? And I go to them, and I gave both of them, like I took the bar that I stole, right? And I broke it in half. I got him a half and my other friend a half. And they tried it, and they both, like in the middle of the class, they both started like choking because it was so dry and everything. So I'm like, fuck, they don't like it. And I didn't even try it myself, right? So they're like, oh, this is disgusting. I'm like, it's not about that. It's about you can sign up people, you can make money, right? So they said, Miguel, we will join your business when you make your first $100. Okay, first $100. So I continue, Facebook starts, social media. Back in the times, we did not have social media to build network marketing. We used to just call people, meet them, or knock on their doors, or go on the streets and cold contact, right? Like going into the city center of Brisbane and just talk to people like, hey, you look so beautiful. Do you want to buy my whatever, right? That was the plan that we had back in the times. No one was building with social media. So when I joined, there was the big game changer of us starting to use a script, a cold contacting script, and messaging people. So I started to reach out to people and sell them a nutritional plan, right? A gym nutritional plan. And this plan was for free, but you had to get the product. So it was like kind of the buy a product and get the other stuff for free, right? The plan, the gym plan, all of these things. The thing is, until then, I've never been to a gym. No idea, right? So these people keep messaging me after I sign a couple of people up on Facebook. They keep messaging me, how do I do this? And I went on Google, I'm like, do it like this. So I had no fucking idea, right? So I started to sign up my first people, and then I made my first 16 euros and 36 cents. And it was my first money that hit my bank account. And it was another very big game changer for me. I still remember. I went to the bank. I got like this little bank slip where it says, we credited 16 euros, whatever, on your bank account, right? And I go home, I take this pay slip, right? I go home, and we always met at for dinner, right? We always met for dinner, my mom, my sister, me. And I have this thing, I was so ready, bro, to take this pay slip and smash it on the table and show everyone that I made 16 euros, bro. So I have this pay slip here in my pocket, right? And my mom starts to talk, and I take this thing and smack it on the table like, Mom, business is booming, right? Because I told my mom about it, obviously, right? Because she paid 50 euros for it, and the other 50 euros, you know where they come from. So my mom starts to laugh, and she's like, that's 16 euros. I'm like, Mom, you don't understand, it works. They actually paid me. Because for me, it was more like, are they really gonna pay me if I sign someone up, right? So they started to pay me a commission for signing it up. And you know what happened then? And I don't know if you guys had this feeling, but once I made my first money in this business, it was like tasting blood. It was like, this shit works. I do something and I get money, right? And I started to believe more in it, and then I started to run. And guys, I have made so many mistakes. I had so many meetings. I drove to so many places. I had to overcome so many difficulties. My first 3 years, the highest amount of money my first 3 years that I earned was 200 euros. Not at one time, accumulated, okay? In 3 years, 200. And I had to pay for the license every year, 100, I didn't have the products, okay? So once I had the 100 euros that I made accumulated, I went back to my two friends in school, maybe like after half a year or a year, even at the end of the school or end of high school, and I showed them that I made 100 euros accumulated. Do you think they joined? No, both of them didn't join. They get on eBay and they buy the products from someone that had the products but didn't want to use them. So instead of joining me, they were closed on the products but not on the opportunity, and they got on eBay and bought the product, basically from someone else. So this guy comes back in school 2 days later with the same product that I'm trying to sell him in a network marketing compensation plan, but he bought it from someone else. Like, I liked him so much, I bought him on eBay. Like, fuck this, bro. Like, I explained to you this. You need to join me, bro. I need to make a commission, right? So everything was going wrong. The amount of kilometers I traveled, the amount of times where I didn't have any gas money anymore and had to call up friends and like, bro, my card does not work. Can you send me the money? I'll send it back. Guys, it's a journey. It has been a journey the last 7-8 years. And I especially focused on the simple first key steps, because this is still a very young team. And I know that most of you guys still face the basic difficulties of becoming successful, the ones that I just talked about. Overcoming yourself, understanding why things are as they are, and taking self-accountability, but also having this dream. And look, guys, I want to finish off with this. This is my story, a little bit, just a tiny little bit of the beginning. There's so much more stories, so much more crazy things we did, so much fucked up shit I saw, so many kilometers traveled and hours in planes and situations and ups and downs and people coming and leaving and breakdowns and like people like that joined my business and then left again, and people in life that wanted to support me but then didn't. But the real ones stay, and that's beautiful in this business. It's really like a filter. But what I'm trying to say is that I always kept focus on my dreams. I always told myself 5-6 nights a week for success. And I continued, and I told myself 5-6 nights a week for success. So I would never focus on the next years. I would always focus on 5-6 nights a week. Just focus on what you can do right now. I know when you think about the future, how am I going to become a profitable trader? How am I going to lead a big community? I did not think about the next 30, 90, 100 days, 1 year, 2 years. I thought always about the next 5-6 nights to become full-time. And once I became full-time, I started to think about 5-6 days a week for freedom, right? And I always focused step on step with having my dream in mind and my burning fire. And if you don't have that burning fire, then you can create it. You can create it by having uncomfortable thoughts or by reminding yourself of your past when you fell down, when you felt like no one believes in you, when you felt like you're just a little piece of shit. And sorry saying it like that, but I had these moments in my life, many, many times. I thought I'm not good enough. I thought, why should my dream come true? I thought, maybe the teachers are right. Maybe I should listen to them and do what they told me, and that's just like take a normal office job if I'm even good enough. He said, Miguel, probably you're not gonna even get into an office job. Maybe you're gonna do something more handy, which is no disrespect, right? But they didn't think I'm intelligent enough to even work on a computer, right? They just said, do something and be happy if you make money, right? And I had all of these things. And after being now 8 years a community leader, a very proud community leader of such a beautiful community like you guys and many more countries and many, many more people, right? I understood one thing, is that I know that you might never heard that, but the biggest key for me in what I just said to reflect is that people believed in me, right? My mentors believed, they pushed me, they believed in me, and no one believed in me, besides my mom, obviously, and my dad, and probably my sister, but no one really believed ever in me. No one pushed me to do great things. And I want you guys to understand that this community is exactly that for you. If you had never ever someone tell you that they believe in you, I believe in you. You know why I have so much confidence in saying that, even though I mostly don't even know you, is that I've seen so many people in this business become successful that even I had doubt in the beginning. I saw so many people become successful in this business that should have never become successful, and I'm one of the biggest examples. I just continued to do it all the time. I just always reminded myself of my dream. And I know it's hard sometimes because people tell you what you are not and what you cannot do. But trust me, I know you can do it. Because the amount of respect and the amount of knowledge I have, seeing so many people succeed in this, I know that you can do it. And it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if you think about yourself you're smart or not, if you think you're well-spoken or not, if you're anxious or not, right? All your traumas, your generational traumas, all the bullshit that happened, I know you can do it. So I want you to believe in yourself because I do, and I don't need to know you to believe in you. Because, one more time guys, I saw things you don't, I had people come up to me and they said, if I would have not found this community, by now I would have taken my life. And these are things that sit so heavy with you that you are building something, a community where people can feel like themselves, where they can learn and grow, where they can use a vehicle in a business. So I want you guys with me to finish this up by saying very loud together and standing up, please. I want you guys to follow my words when I count to 3, and that is, I believe in myself, okay? I count to 3, wait. 1, do you guys got it? Everyone knows what to say? Give me like a thumbs up. Okay. I believe in myself in 3. 1, 2, 3. I believe in myself. Let's go, guys. Thank you. Who's